Hits 96.
Hits 96, Chattanooga's number one hit music station. Gino D here with you, and today I have the pleasure of being connected via Zoom to Sarah Mootz. How we doing, Sarah?
Oh my gosh, so excited. So excited.
I'm excited too. Thank you so much for taking some time and talking with us here. We love to do little artist profiles and kind of talk about some up and coming musicians that are hitting the music world by storm. And you are definitely on our list. Originally from Athens, Georgia. I know you perform quite a bit over in Atlanta in that area, not too far from us. A good little, maybe a little mini road trip to go see you. But when I heard about your music and everything that you're doing, I was like, yeah, she'd be perfect for a little artist profile here on Hits 96. And we're going to play your song, which actually doesn't technically get released till next year, which is kind of exciting. So we'll do a little bit of a sneak peek on the radio so people can hear it. And we'll talk about what you have planned for next year. But before we get through all that, let's kind of start off in the beginning a little bit, get to know you. How did you get into music? What's your background like? And we'll see where the conversation takes us.
Okay, you just stop me if I'm rambling.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
How did I get into music? So I started out, I would never shut up when I was a kid. And I thought that I was good at singing, but nobody else really
Okay.
told me that until I actually got bullied in middle school and I started spending my lunches in the chorus room. And the chorus teacher made me sing for him. And he was like, oh my God, like he was freaking out. And then he made me do this singing competition and I placed like the highest rating. And
Awesome.
from then on, so that was like sixth grade. And from then on, I was just hooked. I stopped doing anything else. I was just like singing. I was actually started singing soul music.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird. I was like this little blonde girl singing soul music, and people are like, "You sound like you've been smoking in a saloon your whole life. What in the world?" And I'm like, "No, it's just me." And then I picked up the guitar in eighth grade, and I wrote my first song and put it on YouTube. And the girls that were bullying me, they came to school the next day singing it, and I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
whoa, okay. Like I think that was like a sense of power that I had never felt. And so of course from then on I was already hooked, but then I was hooked even more. Uh,
That's what I
and
was gonna say. Was that kind of the moment that you kind of realized, wow, I can do this and actually make an impact?
yeah, yeah, and it was so magical for me to feel so seen and heard. And I've actually had to kind of like work on detaching a little bit from that too, because it like became such a part of like my self-worth of like and connection and everything, and believing that I was worthy because because I'm good at what I do or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I've been working on because little baby Sarah, like she like that's how people grew to like her, was her voice and her
Sure.
song.
Sure.
So but yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I've been doing it ever since I was 16. So, and I'm 28 now. And
Okay. So yeah, quite some time then. You get some history under your belt for sure.
yeah, for sure, I paid my dues.
Let's tell people what your creative process is like then. What have you learned since writing and all doing that all at 16 till now? How has your creative process changed? What's it like for you as an artist when it comes to making, songwriting and all of that?
Yeah, yeah. So it started out, and I think this was the best way to start out, but it started out just, emotional expression and just an outlet. And I would write poetry all the time before I started singing. So songwriting was just kind of combining melodies and my poetry that I was writing. And I wasn't like going for a certain sound or anything like that. But then as I was getting older and the last really 4 years, I got so serious and I was building the brand and
Mhm.
building everything else that goes along with being a full-time artist, because it's not just about the music, it's about everything.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
yeah, and like so I kind of like started diving into like I started out like really interested in like indie pop and like the bedroom pop vibes, and that was like my first time 4 years ago in the studio during COVID,
Okay.
where I walked in and I was producing I was essentially co-producing with the producer that I was with, and I really had like a direction that I was going for, and songs that I thought I would sound good sounding like, and we just kind of took a bunch of reference tracks and a bunch of pieces of all my influences, and then made it all Sarah Mootz, Serafied. Um, Nothing I do ever sounds like anybody else because my voice doesn't sound like
Yeah, it's
anybody.
very unique. Yep.
Yeah, and like that was a fight. Like early in my life, like doing singing competitions and stuff, I always wanted to sound like the radio, and I didn't know of anybody that sounded like me. But then I learned that that's actually my strength, and
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah,
yeah,
you can carve your own little spot right there.
exactly. It's so helpful. So honing in on that, the creative process has changed because I've gotten to know like what I'm good at, where's the strengths in my voice, where's the
Sure.
strengths in songwriting, and so yeah, and honestly, mostly everything is emotional expression and comes from emotional fuel and stuff like that.
Yeah. People have said of your lyrics that they're described as honest and heart-wrenching. You talk about a lot of emotions there in your
Yeah,
words. When
yeah.
it comes to that, since you have that poetry background first, do lyrics come to you first, or is it music sometimes? Or I'm probably a little bit of both, but what do you think you are more comfortable?
It's mostly lyrics and
Yeah,
melody.
that makes
Melody.
sense.
And then usually after that, I'll sit down with the guitar and kind of like flush things out. But it's usually melody and lyrics like at the same time. Like I'll
Right.
get a hook in my head and then the rest goes.
What do you find that motivates you to kind of choose music as a career and to kind of chase this dream a little bit? What's the motivation? Are there any particular events or any people that kind of are behind you in this little ride that you've started?
Honestly, I have been so alone up until now.
Mm,
I've had people come and go. My best friend managed me for 2 years, so that was cool. But the main driving factor behind all of it is just that feeling of connection and feeling like I'm fulfilling my purpose,
yeah.
and there's just nothing like I experienced that at the age of 16 playing live my songs and storytelling and people coming up to me and crying, whatever. I experienced such a like sense of connection so early that it's like nothing else I did in my life topped that.
Yeah.
Like that to me was everything. So that's the driving factor for me, and
And it's
now that
so and it's so strong, right? The connection that you can make.
oh
There's nothing like it. That audience connection, singing your song, the interpretation. Sometimes you might be singing about something completely different, but somebody in the audience is taking it another way, but it's affecting them. I think that's the beauty of music is that connection that you can make with it.
yes, I love hearing the different interpretations that people have for
Yes, I
for my
bet.
song. It's always stuff I never expect, and I'm like, go you, you're creative.
Exactly. Yeah. You're like, oh, maybe that's what it's about. Sure, that works.
Yeah,
Let's talk about performing live a little bit. In Athens, Georgia, you're known as a local legend because you were sold out what the Georgia Theater rooftop, which is a big deal in Athens, Georgia, and you've had the opportunity to perform on notable stages, all types of stages. What do you enjoy most about performing live? I think we touched on it a little bit of obviously the connection,
yeah.
but how does it differ than maybe creating music in a studio or something like that? How does it connect to you a little bit more?
I think ultimately like the five senses that we all have like plays a part in how we feel about music.
Yeah,
And when you're live, you can, I mean, even like it's not like I'm spraying perfume in the air or anything. I've thought about it, but it's like the smells, this the sights, like just the overall environment and the way that it can encapsulate you, like that's magic. Like that is magic. Like there's nothing better than that.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
And what are you hoping that the audience takes away at the end of the night? Say you've been on stage half hour, an hour, however long you're performing. At the end of the night when they're walking home, what do you want them to take home with them?
I always hope that they feel less alone. That's
Yeah,
always my thing is like I just want them to feel validated in something that they're feeling or thinking, through the lyrics, or just that they were able to escape for a night and just,
sure.
feel
Sure.
Yeah.
That is a cool thing about music. It really is an escape. It makes you kind of eases your mind, puts you in a different spot sometimes that you need to be. And yeah, I mean, that's what's so cool about the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
fantastic stuff. We're going to play your song Basics on the radio for everybody to hear. And this is kind of a sneak peek. As I mentioned, it's not out yet. It's going to come out in 2025, early 2025. So we're looking forward to that. And we'll get into more, maybe what your plans are for the next year. But before we hear this song, can you share the story behind it? What's it about? What should we know before we listen to it?
Yeah, Basics.
Basics, yeah.
Basics almost didn't make the album, actually. It
Oh,
almost didn't
wow.
even get recorded. I just wrote it by myself at the piano, and I was really reminiscing on I hate iPhones. I hate phones all the time. Like I'm like I so wish that I was born in a different generation sometimes. And I was thinking about that and the way that it takes away from us being present. And that's where Basics came from, is just reminiscing on, can we get back to basics, baby? Can we take a walk in the park, listen to some Blink 182, you
There
know?
you go. Yeah.
So verbatim, but it's, yeah, I was just reminiscing.
Well, it's a great song. I can only assume that's going to kind of lead more to what you're working for in 2025. Final question. What are your career plans when it comes to music and what you're doing for the new year? You got a whole year ahead of you. Looks like you're working with some people now, getting some things going. So
Yeah.
what are we excited about and what should we look for?
I'm so excited. I think so. I am signing to a management company right now, and they're amazing. I've gotten to know them over like 2 months. So, but they're talking about festivals and radio tours and all the things. So it sounds like all my dreams might come true this year. So, yeah, we're talking, lots of performances and lots of meet and greets and whatever else comes my way. Hopefully, radio play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to that. Congratulations on the success so far, obviously being recognized and now hopefully starting off a new year with a whole new journey to begin. And hopefully when you come down through Chattanooga, you can stop on by and perform for us. And we have lots of great venues here in the scenic city. So you have to come by and see what it's all about, okay?
I'm gonna come see you for sure.
Excellent. That is Sarah Mootz. You can go to her website. That's Sarah with an H, mootz.com. We'll also throw up the links to all your socials and everything on our website so people can go check that out at hits96.com. Sarah, thanks for the time. And we're going to play Basics right now. And we look forward to seeing you in 2025.
Thank you.
Hits 90.